I don't totally agree with this article. It's about how Democrats had a few recent wins in past decades, and then now they're trying to conserve those wins. So you could think of them as small c conservatives at this point, and you could look at Trumpers as like radicals who are trying to change things. This article to me reeks of trying to halt social progress. Sort of. What it does is it paints Democrats as people who are going to be staying still for a while. That's what this narrative accomplishes. It makes it sound like leftists are going to stay put for a little bit. But like, isn't that a perfect thing to say if you want less progress to happen? And I mean, to say that they're conservative is silly, because to say that leftists, people, Democrats are conservative, obviously they are conservative compared to other countries. Like, they're practically conservative. But what this article is saying is that it's acting like people don't want further progress. But in reality, people on the left want more progress. They aren't done. They don't think things are good enough now, and they don't want to stay in the same place. That's the thing. That's what I don't like about this article. Is there's not a leftist anywhere who thinks things are okay right now. The funny thing about US politics is the right wing can just brazenly be pro-business because all these poor right-wingers think they're going to be millionaires, and they think being taxed really sucks, and so they just go along with it. And plus they get the bonus of like dunking on the libs or whatever. The leftists have, or the liberals rather, have an educated base. And I would argue this sort of like naive base that goes along with whatever leftism says, or rather whatever liberalism says. That's an important distinction. They go along with it. The base is educated, and their liberalism's pro-capital, pro-corporation policies have to be guised and hidden a lot more. There's a lot more subterfuge, and it's not so brazenly pro-business, but it is still pro-business. Both parties preserve the interests of capital. That's a far leftist analysis of what happens in the United States. To me, an article like this from The Atlantic tries to paralyze progressives. Like, one of my key beliefs is that whatever you say, or whatever people say the situation is, becomes the situation. So any narrative sort of becomes a reality. And I'm saying you need a counter narrative to this, because it's just not the case that Democrats are happy with where things are, and it's not the case that they should sit still, or they're trying to sit still and preserve their old achievements. Of course they're trying to preserve their old achievements. They want to preserve them so they can keep going. Does that make sense? It's preserving them in light of further progress. This isn't conservatism. It's not small c conservatism. So I don't know. This article seems a little bit short-ranged to me. Like, yeah, okay, cool. It's an interesting turn of thought to say that Democrats are taking sort of a small c conservative position, but I don't agree with it in light of the general desires of left or liberal goals.